Yeah, but yeah, this is the I'm the game lead two developers this time around. So
Well, assuming he doesn't get the interview, I suppose, or doesn't get past the interview.
oh yeah,
But
true.
I wish him the best of luck. Him, I suppose. Yeah. Sure. So, I mean, how do you wanna do this?
Yeah, I thought well I think we should just touch back around how we want to go forward with the rest of the project. Like what are your expectations? We've come up with some things. What are you expecting? Like, we're kind of trying to meet halfway through, or maybe 75% you, 25% us, whatever. Um, yeah, the three issues we thought were best solved is obviously the problem of each user having their unique project sets, right? Authentication, security, having each individual being logged in and have access to their project and no one else have access to that project, right? I
Yeah.
thought that was one of them. The second one was a more intuitive UI so that, you know, this is probably a problem we had from the first cycle around. We just never really got around to it because we lost members. People just kind of had to leave out and stuff. But it's intuitive UI, it just shows you the front the landing page tells you exactly what the product does. There's like maybe a tutorial page. Our other member Ben mentioned using intro.js, which kind of like puts up like pop-ups and notifications, yeah, that kind of show you what everything does, or at least like maybe even a video, stuff like that, right? That kind of a person should be able to just randomly come across your website and know exactly what it does and how to use it. And that would be a second goal. And then the third one is compatibility with Africa Talks, like tested and proved. Uh, I think those are the three problems we want to solve.
I wonder where in there the well, there's just that little bug with the simulator.
Yeah.
um, I've asked one of our employees to use the platform or use the canvas to just prototype something quickly. So we will see how that comes back. I'm talking. She'll be presenting it tomorrow, and hopefully she says that it's intuitive enough. She did seem to get it. So what I'm just concerned about is that she plots it all out and hits save, and it doesn't, because you know how it kind of flashes away and then comes back.
Mm-hmm.
One time it didn't come back for me, and that kind of scared the shit out of me. So that's the one thing I'm a little afraid of, is that she puts in the effort. Anyway, so I'm really hoping that doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
You can probably tell me that it won't, but well, yeah. So is the canvas set? Is it ready? Do you think, like, is there any bugs you know of that you need to work around?
Yeah, not that I could think of. Obviously, maybe the ones you're discovering, those are ones that we didn't come across, and we tested it a fair much. We've made like over like 50 projects, right? So
Okay. Well, so then, would you agree that the rest is just kind of packaging?
yeah,
Okay. That's good. That's kind of what and I'm also trying to remember where we are. Where it's been a bit of time since we spoke, but ish. But yeah, I mean, I can say there's a little like intuitiveness issues or intuition issues on what the first thing you do is and what some of the buttons do. Now, if I wasn't standing over Sylvia's shoulder and I could show her how to do that, like, I think it might have been a problem. So in that case, there will be some kind of effort in the learning part. Now, I don't think you can do it all intuitively. I think you may have to, I don't know. I leave it up to you to kind of work out I've got one of the other teams saying that, you know, overlays and that sort of thing are bad practice because it should all just kind of make sense from the beginning. But I don't know. I liked in one of the previous iterations of the designs, they had, you went through like a step-by-step just to get up the home screen up and running. And that way you don't need to like specify a home screen. Mm-hmm. For instance, I had one of the questions that Sylvia asked me was like, what is the naming? Why would you title a screen? Like, why would one of the responses be, what's a node title? I think it was. Like, why would that be necessary? Mm-hmm. And I don't think she quite bought my answer, but we'll see. So it's just little things like that, you know, which either there's some nudging that needs to happen or something or other. I think you understand like what needs to go, what needs to happen there. It's kind of hard for me to be like, what needs to happen is this screen needs to be here so that you can get to this screen. I kind of leave it to you to kind of improve the intuitiveness of it. But as I said, like if the previous objective was just to get the canvas set, then that's great. Now we can start to work on some of the, I would say, easier stuff. Does that make sense, what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, that's about what I was thinking. And the conversation I was having with Ty and Ben was in that regard. It's like, hey, this core functionality works. Now we might need to get this to production level app that's, you know, bulletproof, right? That just doesn't fail, and at least 98% of the time works, right?
Yeah. Well, in that case, like I think we're on the same page. You were talking about authentication, working with Africa's Talking. It'd be really great. You know, I've got a meeting. When is that meeting? I got a meeting. Who is it with? Tuesday. I got a meeting next Tuesday where being able to walk in with a prototype ready to go that we had designed ourselves. So right now, like Sylvia she's just doing it graphically. Like we want to see graphically what platform she has in her head, right? And it just makes sense. Like she could draw it out, but I prefer she use the Sauti Studio just to kind of prototype it. But when we go into a meeting, it'd be really cool if we could throw something up and have it linked up to a shortcode on our side. So, you know, now I'm not saying next Tuesday is the deadline for you guys, but you kind of get the use case. So having Africa's Talking work with it will be neat. It works in Postman, right?
Yeah.
It's just their dumb little thing, their like simulator?
The simulator works in the same way as Postman does.
But it doesn't work, right?
It should. I wasn't able to replicate the issue that you were having. I don't know if you want to show me what you're doing.
What was the issue?
You said you were pressing enter and then nothing was happening.
Oh, yeah, that's on the simulator, but that code, that endpoint should parse or should process any Africa's Talking requests to it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I could change that. So yeah.
Well, let's try it.
Here's the thing. I made two separate endpoints for the simulator and the one that's going to be hitting Africa Talks, and they require different parameters. So
yeah, that makes okay. Well, like let me understand what's going on here. So I've had problems with sharing recently. I don't know why. That's so
that may be part of the problem. is that you're going straight to the workflows page.
Yeah. But I need to log in. Yeah, it's just because I didn't have the thing. Let's log in.
And right now it's very not very working very well. Okay, so
So now I'm gonna get the endpoint from here. Is that right?
Yeah. So did you publish it at all? That's
No.
part of making the UI better. It needs to be published. Okay, publishing successful. Then you simulate it, and then you press enter. There you go.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you have to publish it first.
Yeah. Sorry. That's part of the problem we want to work on. It's either rearrangement or little pop-ups or a tutorial or pages all designed going through making an app is because stuff like that's missing. Like, how are you supposed to know that you need to publish it first? You didn't. You were working with us this whole time, and that was just something that would come naturally.
Okay. It needs to be published in order to simulate? I mean, like, it can be.
Yeah. Publishing puts it on USSD and the simulator. That's something I could change. If simulate should just publish it to the simulator, but then it would be like I could put at the top that it's at the USSD, like it could be accessed by Africa Talks, but it wouldn't be true until you press the publish button, right? So that's some design choices. I thought publishing make it so that it's available for everyone, and the simulator is just something that can access that available endpoint.
I just imagine that some people I don't know why, but I just imagine some people will want to test. They'll want to test it as they go, right?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
If it's an easy fix, if it's not, it's not the worst thing in the world.
You know what? I had that thought process too. I was thinking okay, people are gonna want to save and just try it out, and I forgot how I thought through it, and I was like, no, I guess if they really want to just test it, they would just save it, and I guess they could just always publish it again, you know. But maybe they make changes they don't like, and they rather just simulate it and then go back and do changes, or they like the previous iteration and rather publish that. So okay, that makes sense. That's a change I can easily put.
Speaking of the intuitiveness, sometimes I'm a little concerned about I hit publish and then I feel like nothing's happening, but I do see that, I do get that either it's being written to the database or making a call somewhere. Any chance we could put an overlay in the spinning wheel or something? Just indicate something's going on.
Yeah, the publishing successful is just a placeholder.
Yeah, I get that. That's and that's how I would do it. Whatever. For whatever reason, the standard is, and let me double check this. Is a colon with no space.
Colon with no space.
Yeah, rather than the period that you've gone for here.
It should be easy to change.
And is there a padding on here? Yeah, and it's close. I don't know why. Ideally, that's kind of a small, dumb little thing. When you go to simulate like this, right? This is what I'm talking about. If that was a colon, that'd be fine. I'm sure that's just a character. I'm sure you just change the character.
So you want to change it in the representation of the USSD as well?
That's right, yeah. Yeah, so now I assume that And something that's a little odd, and I get that this is more work, and maybe I know you don't have a front end guy, or I don't know, maybe you do.
Ben is actually our front end guy, so.
Okay, cool. Well, if you notice on mine, it just typically, it's this dumb like scroll, you know? That's how they receive it some of the time. I don't know, there's something like jarring about it, kind of just like, I know what you're doing, you're clearing and then putting it back in.
Yeah.
This just, I think, appends a div underneath each time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the biggest issue, as long as, it's not the biggest issue.
Yeah, that's doable. I mean, we even have that empty scroll bar on the right that we're kind of planning to do it like exactly.
I get that impression,
Yeah.
that it was planned. So now, so how do I get to the publishable endpoint or the published endpoint? Is that this?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the Sims one. That's a simulator one. So the parameters are different. It's just all it needs is a user underscore ID and a text, and it's based on our
Okay, just keep in mind, like all I get to do with Africa's talking, so it'll just need to be parameters. Like all I get to do is this.
Yeah.
So, it will accept, parameters. Just they'll have to be get request parameters or get parameters.
A query, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And we're working on that, or I am at least, so that you can just plug that into that interface you just told me, and that's the talks, and it should work, right?
So are you saying that this is looking for parameters that I do not know?
Yeah, because it's a simulator one. But if it was the USSD one, and I mean, I don't know how to go with that. Do you want to have the USSD URL up top there, or the simulator one? Because they're two different endpoints.
I don't think anyone needs to see the simulator one.
Okay.
Because that's for the simulator. It's more like, give me the end user one. Like, give me the one I need to make everything work. This one.
All right, gotcha. Yeah, it's easy fix.
And you might expect that when you hit publish, you would get like a box which would say, "You've published. Enter this endpoint into your USSD aggregator," or something.
Okay.
Or endpoint available at so and so, and then parameter. You might. Well, yeah.
Put maybe you want me to put like a list of the.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm trying to think if you should include the parameters in the endpoint. You probably should.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you probably should. Okay. And then what was the first one is, so that's kind of that's what you mean by authentication, right? Like the endpoint authenticating in the endpoint URL?
No, it was more of these projects that you don't have access to other people's projects, and each person has their own set, right? And that is kind of our form of authentication, because if you're a user, you're the only one who should be able to know what's your project's hosted at, right? And we could make that like kind of a really longer string, right? Of what your project's hosted on. Right now, it's just your project ID, and that's the URL endpoint that a USSD can access, right? But if we change the user IDs and stuff like that, and to be in way longer numbers, it'd be a lot better security, at least in my opinion, right?
So are you you're saying like preventing what I've just done?
Yeah, and this shouldn't be possible in the first place. I mean, if you try to go to another user's page and you're not that user, it should just not load for you and just say,
Yeah, of course.
maybe tell you to log in, or this is not the correct page, or I don't know, something more intuitive, right?
Yeah. Okay. So that sounds like, I mean, that's pretty glaring, I suppose, especially for packaging at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, let's get these things out of the way first, because these are small, and once that's done, because then we can start talking about kind of the more serious feature requests.
Yeah, and I mean, this is something that Ty hears. He's going to be involved in the authentication. So
Mm.
while he takes care of that, I'm going to be working on getting the after talks working, and Ben is going to be trying to implement all these like different UI changes, right? Like the simulate it before publishing and the
Yeah.
options with colons and no space, like stuff like that, like the intro.js, but similar stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's clear. One thing that I am not sure about is the dependence on the enter key throughout. Um, like you have to hitting enter can be a pain.
Yeah.
I just wonder if there's like a when you select outside the selected div. Is that how it would work? I think so. Maybe I don't know. Um, it should automatically just like submit the change
Yeah.
when I'm
Definitely.
going to enter. Um, was it possible to? I did something cool. What was it? Was it possible that when you click, because you've got some highlighting, right? And I wonder if it's possible to get the parent connections from the parent that you've clicked. And so, is it possible to fire this marching ants graphic when you've selected the parent? Does that make sense? So when I select the parent, you've got both of these going. In fact, you've got this going.
Yeah. It should be. I mean, that's just simple, like if and or logic. Um, I do have to say though, I mean, Thomas, the guy who did all this diagramming in the canvas, is no longer on the team. So
Yeah.
this code is pretty, like it's well organized and commented and stuff, but it's still like a learning process to learn how to code in the canvas. So it would be a little process trying to get Thomas to come in and kind of get up to date, Ben or myself, to make the changes to the canvas. And it's totally possible, and I was planning on doing it, but it just might take a little longer time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I feel like the sorts of things I'm saying now are just going to be the the little like features after the fact.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I get what you're going. Or yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. So, is there anything you need from me, like other than these annoying comments, to do more stuff?
Nah, it's all we need from you, honestly. But
Yeah.
uh, Ty, do you have anything to add? Any questions regarding authentication or anything, or maybe other areas of the project?
Not really. I think, yeah, I just want to have a chance to kind of see what Lance's vision about and expectations about our project is like. That's all. Uh, I think earlier briefly you kind of mentioned about um, having like some kind of introduction or uh, what was the term? Anyways, yeah, like an introduction. Because yesterday Ben kind of mentioned intro.js, but that kind of gives that introduction, doing a step-by-step guidance of how the app will work. So by having that, it will probably walk the new user through and mention things like publishing app, things like that, so that make sure that they, click what they need to do before having things published.
That would make sense. Do we have any of the designs from, there was a lady way back when, her name was, I don't remember. Are there any of the designs available from her?
Like we put into action everything she designed, but are you talking about like the mock-ups we kind of made with her?
Yeah, the mock-ups.
Yeah. Let's see actually.
There was kind of a neat flow of there was a neat kind of flow from which you can draw from. Now, I imagine that Intro.js would allow you to would allow you to work on top of the canvas, but I think the way she was going is that you wouldn't move to the next screen. Like it would be separate pages, or it might be like side scroll. Like the page would scroll over, and then you would set the kind of starting parameters, which would then configure the canvas for you later. If that makes sense. But the point is that it was just very clear about how it would be.
Okay. I don't remember that.
I wonder where I would find that.
I mean, all we did with Elizabeth Lynn, what I understand, was just kind of the creation, and I can share my screen here. Yeah.
It wasn't Elizabeth. It was someone before. I think it was someone before that.
Oh, was it Austin?
No, before that. What was her name? Let me look far back.
Yeah, this is all we have from Lynn. There you go.
There's a dog here. In fact, let me mute while I figure this out.
All right.
That wasn't this.
No. Okay.
From Tom?
Tom?
Yeah, THOM.
Okay.
Or TOHM.
Okay, from the first team that worked on this.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of looking through here.
It's in here somewhere.
Or was I just that there?
What was the software she was using? Was it InVision board or does that make sense or?
I don't know.
There was something called.
I know that recently they've been encouraging use of Figma. Other than that, I'm not really familiar with the UI workflow.
Taking a look.
Yeah, it's not here. There's no Slack channel.
No, it was before Slack.
It was before Slack.
Yeah, it would have been in that.
In their channel, right?
Yeah. Did they have a channel? I mean, I never saw it. So.
They probably did, but I don't think any of us have access to it. Let me try it. any access to all this stuff.
In hindsight, actually, it was kind of a weird experience.
Yeah, this is all I have. Oh, is this it? Yeah.
Yeah, now click, maybe sign up. Is there a way to like, yeah, click through this properly? Start new flow. Okay. Is that it?
Yeah. This actually looks pretty cool.
Hang on, there was a part, I found something as well. Let me just click through this. I get what like I'm supposed to be looking at with InVision boards. They can just be really annoying to know what to click.
Oh, like this?
Yeah, well, no, this was kind of the original idea, but click example on there.
Where's that already?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you can see what was going on here is that you had these like little pop-ups that would kind of describe what's happening. But there was like a welcome. There was like a welcome part.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I'm trying to do it too.
This?
No. Whatever.
How? Like that?
No, it was an overlay which was like create your first screen. And then this is the screen that people will see first. Enter your description here, enter your options here. And then the user did that. And then they were transported to the canvas with the home screen already there.
Interesting.
Know what I mean? So then like it was pretty obvious how you would make or do stuff, I suppose. That was just one idea. The problem with this project was that the developers didn't speak with the designers, and so it really should have been a design. I believe it should have been designers controlling the project and saying what was possible. And so that's where I kind of defer to you guys to do like whatever you think looks best, and like you'll know what's feasible as well. So I kind of defer to how you would typically do it. I can't really provide any examples because none of the other examples are any good. Twilio, I mean, I kind of know what I'm doing on Twilio. I still can't work it out. Like, I don't know what my problem is. I feel like I need to watch more YouTube videos, but I don't feel like I should have to watch YouTube videos. So, anyway, I kind of leave it. I want to leave it to you guys to figure out some sort of introduction or tutorial or way of doing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I like that. Maybe we can make that possible. It might be harder, but where you create a new project and it takes to a screen where it says, okay, like what do you want your home screen to say and all that, and then it just automatically sets you up as that, right? And
yeah, that was her initial idea.
Doing that, we don't have to put in that check-in thing. I don't know if you.
Kevin, can you click on the interactive demo at the top?
It just takes you to like it just takes you.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Yeah, but if we do that, we don't have to designate a mother node anymore, and that would kind of clean up the UI a little bit.
No,
I like that idea.
I'm gonna actually, yeah. It seems, I guess it's lost. That's too bad. But you get the idea as well. Like I do like how she did the projects, like the list of projects. Like you guys just have it as kind of a this is just the silly design things that I'm sure will get ironed out. But like the way she had it with, I mean, this is still, this is fine. Like this is good here, but also when she had what did I click to go back there? Back to dashboard. Yeah. So if you hit back to dashboard, I mean, this was all right too. And you could see how you could either edit or see the analytics on it. You guys could think about working on that at some point.
Cool. Yeah, this is totally doable. Just change the value that says if it's published or not. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah. Okay, well, I feel like I should let you guys get to work because otherwise I'll just find more things for you guys to do. But just letting you know, I'll be generally unavailable next week.
Okay.
I would be interested how these guys do the tutorial. So check it out. Yeah. Okay. Cool. If there's nothing else you need from me, I will head out.
Yeah, no, this is very helpful as setting us, at least in a general direction, so we can improve there. Yeah, we've got a lot done by next week. Or this week we still have to plan everything, kind of write up, involve all the details of this meeting, and just kind of plan out a whole design documents, just so we have everything formally written about the direction we want to head. But next week we will start developing, if not at the beginning or at the middle of this week, maybe like tomorrow or Friday,
Cool.
Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah, super. Okay, folks. I'll let you get to it, and it was good to meet you, Ty. So I will talk to you both later.
All right. See you, Lance. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lance.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Okay. I saw that you guys were looking at this Figma document. Can you send that to me as well? Before.
I can send it to you, but there's nothing really in there. Like it was like kind of prototyping with Elizabeth Lynn. She was kind of showing us how to do the whole design and stuff like that. Let me see if I can send you something better.
Because I don't think I've seen the old site where the first team developed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what like the last page that you guys were tinkering with, it was the first time I see it.
Oh, that looks nothing like that. I mean, just the landing page. The landing page is probably the thing that looks exactly like it, but the rest of the project, they just deviated from it, and it made them angry. It made Lance kind of angry. He just kind of said, like, what is this? Like, doesn't even do. Here, I'll put this. We have access to this board. I think it does have a lot of useful stuff. They just didn't use it. But right now, this is our master website, and that has access to, that's the original project, just because we never pushed to master. We never really reached the point where we said we want master to be like this, right? So yeah, if you check Lambda, you can see that the first project. If you click on the Slack channel, I'm sorry, man, I still need to get my coffee. Well, it probably would have been better if I had coffee before that meeting, but I think it was okay. But yeah.
Sorry. So what am I clicking?
In our Slack channel, the first one's the vision board that we were just going through with Lance. Second one's SautiApps.com is our master URL, but we never pushed to master from our development branch. So right now it's the old project, like the first one's there. So if you click on that, it will take you through what the first project did or the first team did.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
So what is the branching convention that you guys use if you're not pushing everything to master?
Lance has to approve of it.
I see.
And honestly, we probably could have made a push to master. The only problem we had was authentication. Like me and Thomas thought, like, okay, the authentication doesn't work. I don't think it would be very, um, like, I don't know, wise or like very honest if we put up a master page with authentication not working. And then, the other one's a dev site, right? People can expect it not to work. But if we were to put the master up there without working authentication, like it kind of just makes you think it works, it doesn't really work. We did that. I think that would be dishonest with anyone who would visit the site and decide to log in.
Mm-hmm.
There's security issues there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Hmm.
Let me stop recording.